My sister tried to ruin my wedding. She's jealous that I'm marrying someone who's considered, quote, rich. You will not believe what she tries to do to the flower bouquet at the wedding. My relationship with my sister was a little superficial. I must admit, ever since we were kids, everything felt like some sort of competition. Who had the highest grades, who dressed better at schools and parties, who dated the cutest guys, etc. I tried not to give that so much thought. I was good at pretending I did not care about it, but she was always trying to show off whenever she was above me on something. And most of the time, she was doing better than me. That petty behavior she had changed when we finally moved out of the house and focused on our respective lives. I thought everything was good between us. We saw each other on every Thanksgiving and Christmas at our parents' house, and that malicious intent of her seemed to vanish from her attitude. We actually got along pretty well. I got to meet her boyfriend, a really nice guy that cared for her and did everything that was on his hands to make her happy. He's a guy with a 9-to-5 job as an accountant at an insurance agency. Years went by and eventually they got married. I was so happy for her. The wedding was gorgeous and all of her friends and family assisted. That's why I thought she would be as happy as I were when I finally got to marry too. When I moved out of the house, I started a relationship with the love of my life. He means the absolute world to me. In my eyes, he's the most handsome and loving man in this universe. When we met, I felt at once in a lifetime connection. And from a moment to another, we found ourselves in love and in a seriously committed relationship. 10 years passed since, yes, a decade. I saw him go to college and get himself a degree on business management. I helped him with his exams and he helped me with mine, while I was getting my degree on odontology. We were a team since day one. We moved in together around 2 years ago and decided we wanted to spend the rest of our lives together. He tried so hard to find a business niche that allowed him to develop his full potential. At first, things weren't so good. He was running an online clothing shop and found himself a few freelance designers, and got his merchandise manufactured from Taiwan. He was very interested in Japanese fashion trends, mimicking their designs and styles of wear. His focus was to make a successful online business that could deliver all around the world with affordable prices for his customer and quality materials. But it isn't easy to jumpstart an online business in the internet era, and his budget wasn't even big enough to take shortcuts in the process. At one point, he got interested in clothing face masks with unique designs. Everyone told him that's outside Japan. That trend would not stick. He just thought that perhaps with enough marketing and a little bit of luck, the fashion trend could take off and stick around. Well, then, luck did come. It is sad to put it that way, since the event that helped them achieve success was at the same time one of the worst catastrophes humanity has experienced in the recent years. The pandemic came and suddenly everyone needed a face mask to protect themselves. He was one of the first person to provide stylish cloth face masks to people who wanted to protect themselves from the virus, but at the same time include masks as part of their daily outfits. His business took off all around the globe. He managed to hire manufacturers on Europe and Asia too. He opened around 20 clothing shops all over the continent, and our lifestyles suddenly changed. Partnerships came rolling into his business. Influencers, celebrities, athletes, everyone was wearing his cloth face mask. Then, one of the biggest brands offered to buy the rights to the business for an immense amount of money. He studied the situation and accepted the deal. That's how his life went from being a small businessman to becoming a multi-millionaire with 3 personal brands under his pocket wing. Our lifestyle improved greatly. We found ourselves living in a mansion with a private beach, with 3 luxury cars parked outside our front door, and a live-in maid to cook for us and take care of the home. It felt as if these hard-working and studying years had paid off at last. I tried to invite my sister over to our house like a dozen times, but she always told me she was busy or that she had an important appointment or something, and she never showed. Everyone else in our family seemed pretty happy with the changes in our lives. My mom and dad came over frequently, and we had a great time. They got to relax in our small yacht. It was at our private port. We had canapes and champagne in the sun. One day, while they were staying over, we broke the news to them. Me and my boyfriend were finally getting married. The ring he bought me was huge and spectacular. They were so happy and proud of us and started talking about how cute our babies will be like, and all that stuff parents say when you're getting married. We planned to have our wedding in Italy. We found ourselves a gorgeous antique-looking hotel in the middle of Milan. My soon-to-be husband paid the tickets for all our relatives and even paid extra invitations for them. Our direct relatives could bring up to 3 guests, and our friends had a +1. Overall, there were around 60 guests, all looking forward to spending a weekend in that beautiful European city. We arrived a week earlier to set up everything for the wedding. I bought myself a designer wedding dress using my boyfriend's credit card. I was living a dream. The menu had the finest of the Italian cuisine and the best liquor. I thought everything was going to run so smoothly. But the guests started arriving at the airport, and I got to greet my parents and my sister along with my sister's husband. She had married before the pandemic struck with the boyfriend that I met before the family reunion. She looked a bit dazed. I thought it was just because of jet lag, but something seemed off. Me, my husband, and my parents got to do a little tourism through the city, and we got to visit a few other cities in Lombardy. I wanted my sister to come with us and enjoy together, but she told me she was a little sick. It felt like another one of her excuses to not spend time with me. I respected her decision and had an awesome time enjoying Italy nonetheless. Then the wedding day came. I was nervous, but the thought of marrying the person I love set me at ease. My sister was my maid of honor, along with 2 other of my friends. I started getting in my wedding dress and getting my makeup done. All my maid of honors were supposed to be by my side, but my sister was nowhere to be found. Then I found out she decided to do her makeup herself. It was a bit strange for me since we hired a nice pro crew of makeup artists, but I didn't give much thought of that. When I got out and went to greet the rest of the guests, I finally bumped into her. She seemed a bit surprised and annoyed. I tried to make small talk, but her answers were even smaller. At one point, I asked her if she was avoiding me. She just smiled awkwardly and said, "No, not at all," and just left. Then I saw an unexpected face along the guests in the party. It was none other than my future husband's ex-girlfriend. I was a little bit confused as to why she was here. It didn't ruin my mood, though. I'm a very mature person in that sense, but I could not find or help but wonder if my husband invited her directly. I went up to her, greeted her. She was happy and very polite and kind. I couldn't bring myself to ask her who invited her. I thought it would have been rude to do so. So I just showed her the place and talked for a little bit with her. It felt as if she was just another close friend and I brought to the place. Then I looked across the room and saw my sister watching us from afar with contempt in her face. It seemed very strange to me. I went up to my husband's dressing room and asked his men of honor to leave us a moment so we could talk. They made little jokes about not being able to keep myself away from him, even on our wedding day. I found it cute. They were good guys, definitely. Then I saw him. He was incredibly handsome in that wedding suit. We looked at each other like 2 dumb teenagers in dumb love. I talked to him for a bit and managed to ask him about his ex-girlfriend, and he was just as shocked as I was. He asked me if it was uncomfortable or something, and I said no, it's okay. I said to him that she's actually a very nice person. He seemed relieved and was glad that the encounter went smoothly. I told him I would check the guest list to clear that mystery for now. Things were pretty busy with the wedding, so I couldn't check for myself, but I managed to ask one of my maid of honors to check it for me, and she went to do so. A while later, she came back and told me my sister had invited her. It seemed pretty strange to me, since when were they friends? I thought perhaps, since lately I don't talk to her very often, there was a chance they'd become friends at some point. When I was at the hall greeting the rest of the guests, the ex-girlfriend came to me again. This time she told me she wanted to thank us for inviting her. She told me she was so happy for us and that the fact that we insisted on her coming made her very happy. I just couldn't tell her that we did not know she was even coming, so I played along. But the thought remained in my mind. My future husband had just told me that he did not invite her. Was he lying? That couldn't be right, since she came using one of my sister's invitations. I tried not to give it much thought. Then the ceremony came. Everyone went to church and it looked so beautiful. My sister had missed the rehearsals, but overall it was an easy procession to follow. When we were preparing ourselves for the ceremony to start, I saw my sister scolding the kids that were going to be the flower girl and ring bearer. I came to them and asked them what was going on, and my sister told me they were misbehaving. And they just said, quote, "We were not, we were just standing here." I went to them, told them not to worry, and I told them that I knew they were nervous, and so was I, and promised them, after the ceremony, we were going to have some delicious food and ice cream. They smiled and seemed pretty excited. My sister told me, quote, "Great, now you're just spoiling them." And I told her that they're just kids and this whole ceremony thing is tiresome for everyone, even us adults. So we needed to keep it less troublesome as possible. She just seemed annoyed and in a bad mood. The ceremony took place and the band played our favorite tune by Chopin, a Spring Waltz, while I was walking down the aisle. The priest hosted a fresh mass with his Italian accent, and everyone found him charming and well-spoken. We came out of the church with cheers, and a bunch of white pigeons taking flight above us, got into the white limo that would take us to the party hall that we reserved for all. Everyone was so happy it seemed. My now husband's best friend gave a speech blessing our love and telling how proud he was of us, and then we had a delicious meal. When it was almost time for our first merry dance to take place, I went outside to catch my breath for a moment. Being in a wedding dress for so long is hard, I must confess. We had a wall full of white flowers at the entrance of the hall just outside the door. When I was getting there, I saw my sister. I thought she was taking a little break too, but then I saw what she was up to. She was holding on to one of those candle lighters, trying to set the whole wall of flowers on fire. I went up to her, raising my voice, but it was too late. A few of the flowers were lit already and started spreading. "What is wrong with you?" I yelled. I told her she was just looking at me in a gaze full of hatred, and a tear started rolling down her cheek. The fire started lifting up until the smoke alarm went off. Luckily, the building had emergency sprinklers on the roof and they all went off perfectly. But getting everything wet... Luckily, the fire did not spread so much, but it was quite annoying getting wet all of a sudden. I asked her what the hell she was thinking, and she found herself cornered. She told me the truth with tears in her eyes. "Why, it has to be you? Why are you the one living the best life, while I'm with the average Miss Nobody married to Mr. Nobody with a 9-to-5 job?" I told her I couldn't believe she was willing to go this low as to try to ruin one of the happiest days of my life, all because of this pettiness and jealousy. I told her I thought she was through with that hideous attitude of hers of being the best at everything. She told me that was all she had, that our parents always liked her better, and that while she was breaking her back to try and do everything perfect, I was always the one they cared for the most. I told her, quote, "You tried to ruin my wedding, inviting my husband's ex-girlfriend, tried to ruin the ceremony by scalding the kids and almost making them cry. Then, almost managed to burn the whole place down. Don't you think that has something to do as to why things aren't coming the way you want in life? You're not the person I thought. This is evil. I can't stand to have you in my wedding anymore. Leave." When I finished, I noticed her husband just behind the corner, and when he approached, it came clear to me that he heard the whole thing. The security of the hotel came asking what was going on, and he just pointed at her and told them my sister was attempting arson against their facilities. When they were taking her away, he approached her and said this in a stern voice. "I can't believe you were thinking like this of me. I feel humiliated." We managed to resume the celebration. Later, I was told my sister was detained and deported with a fine. Her husband filed for divorce immediately, and I cut off all communications with her. It's painful for me, but for the moment, I need time to think about my relationship with her. I don't know if I can even forgive her. Okay, so I have to admit, it was sweet music to my ears and the icing on top of the cake when OP's sister's husband overheard everything she said and immediately promptly divorced her. I think that's karma at its finest, but guys, drop your thoughts down below. Has someone ever been in your life that tried to ruin something you were so ready for? AKA the wedding in this story. Drop yours down below. There's one more story left in today's video, and let me just tell you guys, it's a wild one. Comes complete with an update, and the title is, "Am I the a-hole for threatening to take legal action against my ex-wife's stepdaughter if she doesn't pay for the gift she broke?" Guys, let's get right to it. I'm a 38-year-old male. I've been separated from my ex-wife for almost 14 years. She's married now and has 2 stepdaughters. This one involves the older one, Anna, who's 17. Our older daughter, Diane, who's 16, is really into calligraphy. My parents gave her a feud, Japanese calligraphy brush, as a gift for having a great school year. We came back from a trip and left them with her mother. I was just getting home when my youngest called me to return. Once there, they were having an argument, and my ex-wife and her wife were trying to mediate. Diane said that Anna stole her brush and broke it. Anna says she took it with permission from Diane. Not true, we checked. And she accepted breaking it, but replaced it with another one, a cheaper one. My ex-wife and her wife claimed that it was not a big deal and Anna replaced it. I disagree, and told them that either Anna or them have to order a new one or give the money for us to do it. They were willing to do that until Diane told them how much it'll cost. $3,000 US. That's when they flipped the lid and said, "Why am I buying something that expensive?" I told them it's none of their business or the point. Besides, it was a gift from my parents, not mine. They refused and said they can't do it without taking a hit in their finances. I told them I don't care, they need to pay for it or I'll take legal action against Anna, since she did admit to taking it and breaking it. I told them to be quick, because the brushes are limited. Our daughters decided to come with me and took their important things with them. My ex-wife, her parents, and her wife are blasting my phone saying I would ruin Anna's future, and that I'm putting our daughters against them and ruining their relationship. We've been co-parenting really well, but I don't know. I think I'm being reasonable. She's not a kid anymore. What's up, guys? Mr. Reddito here. I have an update for this story, 2 updates. The first one is what transpired yesterday and what happened today. If you're enjoying this story so far, click that like button and make sure you subscribe to the channel, as there's daily videos and you never want to miss one of these updates. So let's get right into it. We returned home and we talked after they calmed down. I asked them if I was missing something or if something changed, etc. They said everything was pretty much the same, but Diane and Lily said that they might know the reason why Anna did it. During the week they stayed with her mother, Anna said to all of them that her boyfriend's birthday was coming up, and she wanted to gift him something special. She asked my youngest, let's call her Lily, with everyone present, if she could play the guitar while she sang a song to him, and Lily refused. Lily says that Anna took it well and did not make a big deal. Then, 2 days before I picked them up, Anna asked Diane if she could make a big poster and Diane refused. But unlike Lily, she offered her to do something small. Diane says that Anna declined her offer and did not make a big deal. Why they refused? The boyfriend's birthday was when they were going to be on a trip with me last week, and both told Anna about it. I asked them if they knew about the finances of her mother. They said she's still working, also her wife, and definitely not struggling. That's why both of them are mad at her mother, because she or her wife could pay for the brush. They don't understand why she acted like that. Knowing this, I asked her what she wanted to do. She listened to my threat and I told her I mean it. I was going to buy the brush and force them to pay me back. She asked me to wait and see what they do in the next few days. So here's what happened today. I received 2 calls early in the morning, one from my ex-wife and the other from Anna's father asking to meet. The father came first. He said his youngest daughter called him and told him what happened. Him and I talked for a little bit, and by the look of it, there's a bigger issue. The man apologized to Diane for Anna's behavior and paid for the brush. The rest came after. Anna apologized first and said why she did it. She took the brush instead of another out of revenge. She tried to use it to do the poster for her boyfriend because she's not good as her. She destroyed it in a fit of rage. Once calm, she saw her, quote, mistake and looked for another one online. And she did see how much it cost and decided to buy a cheap knockoff. She never told anyone what she did until Diane returned. Anna's mother apologized to Diane, also Lily. They both left after that. My wife remained. She apologized to Diane and Lily and said she acted the way she did because this could kill the little to none relationship they have as, quote, sisters. But the result was worse and she regrets it. Diane and Lily told her that everything could be fine if they paid for the brush and apologized right then and there. She could have ended it and squashed it with one upset daughter. Now she has 3. They said that now they don't feel secure there and have no plans to return. My ex-wife said she was going to do anything to solve it and proposed family therapy once again. But both of them refused, and they said that they could meet somewhere else, but at least not for now. They left us alone, and we talked mostly about logistics and a few things I wanted to confirm. Lastly, I talked with my daughter again, and both still are pretty upset. The relationship with her mother took a major hit, and they're not happy with how it was resolved, and neither do I. Alas, we're going to see my parents in the upcoming days. Diane wants to talk with them about the money before buying another brush. Thank you for taking your time to listen. I tried to cover as much as I could, but I'll try to answer if you have questions, so drop them down in the comment section. Okay guys, let's check out one of the comments that was blowing up in the original thread. It's a similar situation that OP went through in the story, so let's read it. Your ex royally mishandled the situation and drove away her daughters. My older sister borrowed, with permission, my iPad in high school. Water spilled in her bag and it shorted out. I wasn't mad at her and understood it was an accident, but I was still upset by it. When we told my dad, he made sure my sister knew that if we could not get it replaced under warranty, then she was going to pay to replace it. My dad taught us both the lesson in doing that, and additionally, my dad reaffirmed that my feelings mattered and my belongings do have value. Let me know in the comment section down below if you want to share a similar situation story. I love reading your comments. Subscribe to the channel, press that like button, and I hope to see you guys in the next one. Have a wonderful day.